Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. So this just came out today. Rolling Stone, the 250 greatest albums of the 21st century so far. For me, I don't think there's going to be that many albums that show up. For me, I'm more into the 60s, 70s, and 80s, some of the 90s. But, there are, of course, some albums from this century. Maybe they'll have a wing album or two in the list, but I doubt it. So here we go. First up, NSYNC. No Strings Attached. I've never heard it. Lucky me. Marina, I've never heard of. Car Seat Headrest. I'm just not hip anymore. See, when I come to an album, I actually know. I've heard of them. I've liked what I've heard of them. The 1975. This will be a very short video. I'm depressed already. Kurt Weill. Yeah, Glenn Calloway gave me one of his albums in a CD exchange, and I just for me, I didn't care for it. The great Ashley Simpson. Maybe that'll be my thumbnail. Turnstile. Mac Homie. Swearin'. Miley Cyrus, I've at least heard of. Hop Along. WizKid. Avril Lavigne. She actually, she was born pretty close to here, about maybe 30 miles away in Napanee, Ontario. I bet you didn't know that. I never bought the later REM albums, like Reveal, but good band. Pink. The Black Keys I've heard a bit of. Queens of the Stone Age. I heard one of their later albums and I really liked it a lot. Broken Social Scene. Hey! Way to go, Rolling Stone. Thank you. This is probably my second favorite Paul McCartney album. You need to listen to it, a couple of times to really appreciate it. But nice to see that on the list. Vince Staples. St. Vincent I've heard of. I would say 90% of these artists so far I haven't heard of. 50 Cent. The Libertines. Load more. Do I have to? The New Pornographers. I've heard of Taylor Swift. And the Hold Steady. Some of these album covers, I could do a worst album covers list just from these. And there's always somebody saying, Larry, you've got to check out this album or that album. The thing is, I have so much music from the past that I want to listen to, and then more that I haven't listened to yet. So I'm happy, listening to the mainly older music, except for new stuff from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard or Sparks. But all of this just would not interest me. Sonic Youth I never got into. Red Hot Chili Peppers, wasn't ever a big fan. Paul Simon I love. That's a very good album. So Beautiful, So What? I've heard him. I like some of his. I did quite a few of his albums on my Patron, and I gave them all, for the most part, pretty good reviews. Shakira, Girl Talk, Fortet. I'm just not hip to today's music. Missy Elliott. Alabama Shakes, I've heard. U2, that's a pretty good album. Drive By Truckers. System of a Down, never really got into. Billie Eilish, I've heard that. It was good. I don't see any Ween albums yet. Yeah, Rough and Rowdy Ways, good Bob Boom Dylan album. Tam Impala, I've listened to their, I don't remember it because I've done like hundreds of song reactions on my Patreon, but I do remember that I did like what I heard. Kanye West, no interest. Animal Collective. I think I just did a reaction to one of their songs yesterday on my Patreon, and I really did like it. It was different. Join my Patreon and make a album request or a song request. The link is below. Mariah Carey. God help us all. Franz Ferdinand, good band. I saw them with Sparks when they were FFS. Won't be any Sparks on this list, I bet. Should be. These album covers are so bad. Beyonce. Spoon. See, this is one thing younger viewers, I'm not saying everybody, but for some of us that are my age, I'm 66. So say you're 25, 30 years old right now, and you're into a lot of this music. Go forward, like whatever, 30 years, you're not going to be interested in a lot of the music 30 years from now, for the most part. I'm not saying it's not, not for everybody, but for some of us old geezers, right? We grew up with what we love. See Change, I've heard it's very good. Leonard Cohen, good art, great artist. My Chemical Romance. The Mountain Goats. Deftones. Yeah, a lot of these artists. I've heard, Fiona Apple. I've probably checked out a little bit of their music. That's really good. Brian Wilson's Smile. Nice to see that on the list. Maybe that'll be my thumbnail. There. Getting into the top 100. Lil Wayne. Here we go. Burial. The Weekend. Young Thug. I think Rolling Stone is trying to look as hip as possible with some of these choices. Gorillaz, they're good. I've done reactions to them on Patron. Alicia Keys, Arcade Fire. Yeah, I had that album. They just, later on they went a little dancey and more poppy and kind of lost interest in them. But Funeral is a great album. Madonna. Oh, there's a great album cover. Bon Iver. Britney Spears, Blackout. Adele. The White Stripes, I like them. One Direction, I don't like them. Taylor Swift. I wonder what's going to be number one for this century. Haven't seen any Radiohead yet. Green Day. I bought that when it came out. I enjoyed it. Harry Styles. I like, from what I've heard, from what little I've heard from his solo career, I think he's very talented. Bjork, she's good. Daft Punk. Bruce Springsteen, The Rising. I never bought that album, but he's good. Arctic Monkeys, I've done reactions to on Patreon, and I remember liking them too. There it's Radiohead in Rainbows at 55. Jay-Z. All right, the top 50. Ugh. Eminem, I used to have that album back in the day. The Killers, they're a really good band. Lots of Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Yeah, Wilco. I don't think I've heard maybe one song or two doing a song reaction, but just some bizarre album covers. Lil Wayne. Yeah's top 30 here. Amy Winehouse, of course. Lord. Dave, yeah. It's nice to see that on the list. That might be my favorite David Bowie album. No. Boom, Dylan, Love and Theft. Do you think it should be at number 19? Let me know if you're, a Bob Dylan fan. Let's see, Elliot, Adele again, Beyonce again. I haven't seen too much heavy metal or anything. I know Rolling Stone probably isn't a fan. If you want to Apple. Here's the top 10. I can hardly wait. The Strokes, I've heard them. I like them. Nope. Never heard. No interest. Nope. No. Taylor Swift, Folklore. Outcast. I had one of their earlier albums, which was good. Frank Ocean, Blonde. Number 2. Oh, Radiohead, Kid A. So I wonder if OK Computer is number 1. Oh, Beyonce, Lemonade. Well, there you go. Do you agree that Beyonce has the best album of this century with Lemonade? Let me know in the comment section below. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye. I'm going to go listen to the Beatles.